I'm Mari White, and the piece of work that I chose to edit for my portfolio was my creative nonfiction piece that I named Go. I chose to do this one because this was probably one of my easiest ones to write. It's really easy to talk about track, so that's why I chose this one to edit. And I liked a lot of the advice that I got from Mr. Tascone and my classmates to change it, so that's why I chose to do this one. The craft element that I used from Burroway is the element flashback. Occurring in Burroway, flashback is a leap into the past within a narrative, film, or drama. This earlier scene is inserted into the normal chronological order of the piece. In my piece, I used the flashback element by changing the first paragraph. Instead of jumping right into the stories of the OAC's trip, I begin with an important part of the story. This way I can capture the attention of the reader. And after I give this, I go right into the flashback of the entire story of my experience at OAC's. So now I'll read how I started off the story instead of how I did it the first time. I set into my three-point stance and anxiously await the slow, deep sound of the starter's voice as he announces, "On your marks, set, and boom, I'm off." Flying around the first turn with the burning look of fire in my eyes, I was beyond ready to win this race. Lying in bed, I realized how anxious I was for the morning to come. Week after week, we put an unbearable amount of stress on ourselves, and every time we scream, "Why do I do this to myself?" I had just showered off the anxiety of today's race just to lay there and experience it all over again once my alarm went. So that's how I edited the first part. I changed around the structure of the first paragraph. As I made my revisions, my goal was to clear things up for the reader that I left a tad bit confusing in my first draft. I wanted to clear up any questions that the reader might have had while reading the story. I took in the advice from my classmates and Mr. Tascone, and I came up with a process to put more information and significant sensory details into the story. So the first advice that Mr. Tascone gave me was to go more into what I eat for breakfast on the day of meets. So this is how I changed that part. We walked down to the breakfast bar of the hotel, and that familiar turn in my stomach was back again. Yup, it was meet day, and my nerves refused me to be hungry. Back in high school, every morning when we had a meet, my mom cooked me scrambled eggs with cheese, toast, and sausage slings. I could almost smell the aroma of the familiar foods as my stomach flipped all at once again. The second part of advice that Mr. Tascone gave me was to go into what my nerves were actually doing to me physically, so this is how I changed that. My nerves had begun to cripple my muscles, making it difficult to stand yet a long run. I didn't know how I was going to complete this race. Coach told us to set up camp inside of the field house, which meant we were going to be able to watch all of the events throughout the day, and that's when it happened. I entered the field house and I felt like I was home again. It was as if someone had turned a light switch on and I came alive. A lot of the advice that the classmates gave me was to go more into what the 500 meter was, because not many people know what a 500 race is. So this is how I changed that. A 500 meter dash is a race that is only ran in indoor track. Some indoor tracks are normally 200 meter tracks. To complete a 500, the runner must run 2 laps and a half, consisting of 4 curves and 5 straightaways. And I added that just to make it more clear as to what the race was, because when I was describing the turns and the straightaways, I know a lot of people don't really know what that means, so I added that to clear that up. And here, I changed a part to clear up the fact that when I said I won the race, I won the cut, I didn't mean that I won the race already, it wasn't over. So I changed it by putting in, winning the cut gives the runner an advantage for the race as a whole. It puts him in a good position to control the rest of the race. So here I let the reader know that the race wasn't over yet, but I had won a significant part of the race at the beginning. I was also influenced to portray a deeper meaning within the piece by Mr. Tascone. Instead of writing a piece just about a runner winning a race, I made it something more meaningful at the end. I think it is important to create a deeper meaning while writing a story, so I was greatly influenced to do this in my own piece. I let the reader know that times aren't always easy, and to get what you want, you have to work hard, but in the end, it's worth it to feel that feeling of accomplishment. And so this is how I edited that part at the end. After what seemed like ages, I finally caught my breath and embraced my teammates who are all so proud of me. I am in love with this feeling. This is the feeling that will always top any other, the feeling of triumph, success, and accomplishment. Sometimes all the pain and torture we as runners put ourselves through doesn't seem worth it. We try and beat ourselves up time and time again, all just to fail. But then moments like this happen. And after all the sweat, tears, and days I felt like giving up, all of my hard work had paid off. So that's how I added a deeper meaning to the story instead of just a runner running a race. So in conclusion, I enjoyed participating in this writing workshop. I think it really taught me a lot about becoming a good writer. I'm now more educated as to how to write first drafts and to build from them instead of thinking I have to write like a fantastic piece my first time around. And that's it.
Question?
No question.
No, you run the 400 on Saturday.
I ran the 800 Saturday.
How'd it go?
And the program. It went really good.
Wasn't a writing question, but